RB Leipzig have made an inquiry for an Everton striker. Exits are expected at Arsenal this summer. Newcastle thought they had a deal for Victor Munoz before Liverpool swooped in, and Chelsea are keeping tabs on Porto goalkeeper Diogo Costa. Here are your daily Premier League news headlines. Hey everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel and to another edition of the Daily Premier League News Headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. My name's Lee The Dorset Spur, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's get into it. Here are the main stories today. RB Leipzig have made an inquiry for Everton striker Tierno Barry, according to the Times. The Toffees would reportedly be looking to recoup the initial £27 million they spent on the France under-21 international before considering his departure. Sky Sports News understand Everton are keen to upgrade their forward department and have explored a loan deal for out-of-favour Chelsea striker Liam Delap. Exits are expected at Arsenal this summer, with one source confirming to Sky Sports News that a key player could depart. There could be at least one departure in the Arsenal front line if they recruit in that position. Gabriel Jesus, Leonardo Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli all have a year left on their contracts, though the club do have a one-year option on Martinelli. Sky Sports News understand the club would consider offers for the trio, but will not allow anyone to leave the club on the cheap, with Arsenal seeking between £18 to £20 million for Jesus. Jesus and Martinelli have seen their game time limited, while Trossard will turn 32 in December. Ethan Nwaneri is another player to watch. He spent the second half of last season on loan at Marseille after falling behind by Bukayo Saka and Noni Madueke. In the pecking order, Nwaneri found game time hard to come by at Marseille, and his commitment called into question by manager Habib Beye, who succeeded Roberto De Zerbi midway through the season. The 19-year-old only signed a new Arsenal contract last August, which runs until the summer of 2030. Ben White is another player facing an uncertain future at Arsenal. A number of Premier League and European clubs continue to keep an eye on his situation. The defender's recovery from a medical ligament injury is understood to be progressing well, and he remains on course to be back for pre-season. White has 2 years remaining on his contract, with Arsenal holding the option to extend for a further 12 months. Any decision on White's future could be impacted by the severity of Timber's groin injury. Timber was forced to withdraw from the Netherlands World Cup squad. Potential reinforcements in midfield could see Christian Norgard look for a new club after just one season at the Emirates. The 32-year-old signed from Brentford in a deal worth up to £15 million, started just one Premier League game last season for Arsenal. His contract is up next summer, with Arsenal holding a 12-month option. Arsenal are also prioritising the signing of a left winger this summer, and as Sky Sports News reported at the start of the window, they have been stepping up their interest in Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers as they explore the conditions of a potential deal. Sky Sports News also understands Villa qualifying for Champions League will have little bearing on Rogers' future. Villa are still expected to listen to offers of around £80 million mark for the player, who also has interest from Chelsea and Manchester United. There has been no club-to-club contact between Arsenal and Villa at this stage. Rogers signed a new deal until 2031 last November, putting Villa in a strong negotiating position. Independent of their pursuit of Rogers, Arsenal have been looking into a deal for Club Brugge left winger Christos Solis. It is understood Solis would cost in the region of £34 million, a Belgian Pro League record. Club Brugge do not want to sell the 24-year-old, who signed a new contract until 2029 last summer. It's also been reported that Arsenal are preparing a bid for PSG winger Bradley Barcola, according to The Independent. The Gunners are reportedly looking into the necessary details of the deal before making an attempt to sign Barcola. Sky Sports News reported Arsenal were prioritising a left winger and have watched Barcola as well as a central midfielder this summer. However, sales will need to be made to facilitate these moves. Barcola scored after coming off the bench in France's 3-1 win against Senegal in the World Cup opener. Newcastle thought they had a deal for Victor Munoz before Liverpool swooped in to sign the Osasuna winger. Newcastle had a £33.3 million fee with an initial £29 million plus £4.3 million in add-ons accepted by the La Liga club. The 22-year-old had agreed personal terms and told Newcastle that he wanted to come, while agent fees were also agreed. Newcastle had the wheels in motion for a medical over in the US and felt they had a deal in place, but they were instructed by the players' representatives to wait over the last 24 hours. Liverpool had always been at the table for the Spain international, so they did not come in at the last minute, but Newcastle had been told the player wanted to sign for them. Newcastle are now licking their wounds inflicted by Liverpool again after what happened with Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike last summer, and are trying to get to the bottom of what happened in the last 24 hours. Chelsea are keeping tabs on Porto goalkeeper Diogo Costa as new boss Xabi Alonso looks to provide competition for first choice Robert Sanchez. According to the Daily Mirror, Costa is valued at £51 million by the Portuguese champions. Sanchez was the Blues' #1 long-term, but came under scrutiny. Philip Jorgensen was also used at times. In all competitions, Sanchez kept 14 clean sheets in 50 appearances, while Jorgensen kept none of his 12 matches. Costa is currently at the World Cup with Portugal, where he started in a 1-1 draw against DR Congo. Last season, he kept 26 clean sheets in 53 matches, conceding just 13 league goals in 31 appearances as Porto won the Premier League. So my thoughts on some of these stories, well, a couple of big ones in there. The details of Arsenal looking to offload some players who won the Premier League last season clearly shows that they are not sitting back and expecting it all to just keep coming for them. They are going to keep on working, keep on bringing in new faces to keep that pressure on, to keep winning these trophies. And you have to say, it does make perfect sense. You cannot sit on your laurels. So interesting to see who actually does leave and who actually does come in. But a big summer for Arsenal if they want to continue and try to have a long-term impact in the Premier League and Europe going forward. The other one that really struck me and I kind of thought about really was this one about Newcastle and Liverpool. It does just go to show, doesn't it, that you cannot count your chickens until you actually see the player holding up the shirt and announced to buy your club. I know that Liverpool were there during the course of these discussions and stuff, but if a player is saying, yes, they definitely want to come and all the rest of it, and everything's agreed, it's just so difficult to accept when another club comes in and just says, yeah, you know, we'll match all that and take that player away from you, which is what happened to Spurs with Eze. Although Eze obviously always wanted to play for Arsenal, he's an Arsenal boy, so you kind of understand it from that point of view. But you're kind of suckered in a little bit to make the deal, go through all the work and agree everything for someone else to just come and take it off your lap. So they must be absolutely fuming in Newcastle that Liverpool have done this to them, especially after taking players off of them last season. So yeah, it's a really interesting one, and one I always say, until I see the player holding up the shirt on an official club channel, then I'm not going to accept that it's done until it's actually there. So we kind of sit with that situation ourselves with Van Hecker. I still haven't seen anything official on that, so waiting to see that. And this is what worries me when these sorts of things happen, that you think it's all done and dusted, but you haven't seen the player holding up the shirt in an official capacity. So disappointing for Newcastle for sure. Anyway, listen, that's it from me. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. I'm Lee The Dorset Spur, and you will find me on my own channel, so if you'd like to pop over and say hi over there, I'd be more than grateful to have you on board. But until the next one, up the Spurs. Bye.